Okay, to make the body, we're going to go ahead and make a magic ring. We're going to go ahead and place 6 single crochets into this magic ring. We're going to go ahead and pull closed. And now for round 2, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochets into each stitch around. We're going to have a total of 12 stitches at the end of the round. 1, 2. For round 3, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into the next stitch. And we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And we're going to go ahead and repeat that 5 more times around until we have 18 stitches. So we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, followed by 2 single crochets into the following stitch. Okay, at the end of round 3, we have 18 stitches around. For round 4, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each one of the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into the following stitch. And we're going to go ahead and repeat this 5 more times around. At the end of round 4, we are going to have 24 stitches. Okay, we're back after we have our 24 stitches around. We're going to go ahead and start round 5. For round 5, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that following stitch. And once again, we're going to go ahead and repeat this 5 more times around until we have 30 stitches around. Okay, at the end of round 5, we now have 30 stitches around. For rounds 6 through 9, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each stitch around. Now you may find it helpful to use a stitch marker to keep track of your rounds as you're going around. And we're going to go ahead and place 4 rounds of 30 stitches around. Okay, at the end of round 9, we have our 4 rounds of 30 stitches. We're going to go ahead and get started on round 10. For round 10, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into the next 3 stitches. Go ahead and mark this. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together. We're going to go ahead and invisible decrease. Then we're going to go ahead and do that 2 more times. So 1, 2, 3, and then decrease. And then 1, 2, 3, and we're going to decrease. And then now what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to place a single crochet into each of the next 15 stitches until we hit that stitch marker. And we're going to end the round with 27 stitches around. Okay, for rounds 11 and 12, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each stitch around. We're going to have 2 rounds total of 27 stitches. At the end of round 12, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start round 13. For round 13, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to go ahead and single crochet 2 together. We're going to go ahead and repeat that 2 more times. So 1, 2, decrease, 1, 2, and we're going to go ahead and decrease. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to single crochet in the next 15 stitches until we have 24 stitches around. Round 14, we're simply just going to go ahead and place one single crochet into each one of the 24 stitches around. Okay, at the end of round 14, we're going to go ahead and start stuffing. And then we are going to continue to keep stuffing as we work the rest of the body piece. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to start round 15, and for round 15 we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into that first stitch, and then we're going to go ahead and single crochet 2 together. And we're going to go ahead and do that 2 more times, so we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet and then 2 single crochet 2 together, single crochet, single crochet 2 together. Then we're going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 15 stitches until we hit that stitch marker. Okay, at the end of round 15, we're going to have 21 stitches, and we're going to go ahead and move on to round 16. For round 16, we are going to go ahead and single crochet the first 2 stitches together, and then we're going to go ahead and do that 2 more times, so single crochet 2 together, and single crochet 2 together, and then we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into the next 15 stitches until we are right back around. Okay, at the end of round 16, we have 18 stitches. We're going to go ahead and start round 17. In round 17, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into the next 6 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're going to go ahead and we are going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together, and now we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. And now we're going to go ahead and single crochet the next 2 stitches together, and then we're going to single crochet into that last stitch. And at the end of round 17, we're going to have 16 stitches around. We're going to go ahead and start on round 18. For round 18, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 5 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go ahead and single crochet the next 2 stitches together, so 1, 2, together. Now we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into the next 6 stitches, so 1, 2, 6, and then after 6 stitches, we're going to go ahead and single crochet the next 2 stitches together, and then we're going to go ahead and single crochet into that last stitch. And at the end of round 18, we are going to have 14 stitches. For round 19, we are going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 5 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're going to go ahead and single crochet 2 together. Single crochet the next 2 together. And now we're going to go ahead and repeat that one more time. We're going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to single crochet into the next 2. End of round 19, what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to single crochet into the next 6 stitches. So we're going to go ahead and just place 6 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're going to just go ahead and make sure that we have stuffed this as much as we want to stuff it. We want to stuff it pretty firm. So we're going to go ahead and stuff it. We are not completing any more stitches. After round 19, we just have those 6 stitches, so it's not a full round. Okay, now when we have our body, the rounds that made the decrease, where we have our decreases, which are over up in here, you can kind of see the decreases. This is the front underside of our body. Like, this is gonna be the front of our body, and this is the top, and then we are going to make, we're going to close this, and we're going to make a undertail. But this here, where you see all our decreases that we made, this is the front of our body. I'm going to go ahead and close this now. Make sure it's stuffed. Oh, just add just a little bit more stuffing in here. Just a little bit more stuffing. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to pinch this together. We're going to go ahead and chain 1, and now we are going to work into both sets of stitches. We have, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to go ahead and working through both sides. We're going to single crochet across. There's 1, and there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, 5, and 6. And now what we have is we have our closed body. We're going to go ahead and chain 1, and we're going to turn. And now we are going to go ahead and we're going to make a tiny little undertail. We're going to go ahead and half double crochet into this first stitch here. And now we're going to go ahead and place 2 double crochet into the next stitch. We are going to go ahead and place 2 treble crochet into the next stitch. Treble, 1, 2. In the next stitch, we're going to go ahead and start with a treble. So we're going to go ahead and put a treble crochet into the next stitch. We are also going to go ahead and put a double crochet into that same stitch. Now we're going to go ahead and put 2 double crochet into that next stitch. And then we're going to go ahead and put a half double crochet here into this last stitch. And once we go ahead and do that, we are going to go ahead and fasten off. We want to leave a little bit of a tail because we are going to need to secure it in. Just go ahead and pull that through. Go ahead and thread our yarn on our yarn needle. And then we're just going to go ahead and bring this down. And I'm just going to secure it across. I go back a couple times. And there we go, we have our body. And this is our body piece. And now when you look at it, this is where the chest of the owl is. This is the tail, the undertail. We're going to have another piece of tail that goes over it later on. And then this is the back. So I'm going to put this aside and we're going to go ahead and start on the head. Okay, we are going to go ahead and start with our head. To make our head, we're going to go ahead and start with a chain 6. So make a slip knot. And we're going to go ahead and chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For round 1, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that first stitch. And now we are going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 3 chains. 2 and 3. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to place 3 single crochet into that last chain. So 1, 2, and 3. And what we're going to do here is we're going to actually rotate the chain around, and we're going to work back to where we started, working into the opposite side of the chain. So now we're going to go ahead and just place a single crochet into each of the next 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into that last stitch there. And what we have now is we have an oval with 12 stitches. For round 2, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And we're going to go ahead now and place a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. We are going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So we're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and then we're going to end up with 2 single crochet into that last stitch of the round. And at the end of round 2, we should have 18 stitches worked around in an oval. For round 3, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to place 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And we're going to go ahead and repeat this now 5 more times until we have 24 stitches around. So, okay, at the end of round 3, we have 24 stitches around. For round 4, we are simply going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the 24 stitches around. For round 5, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into the next stitch. We're going to go ahead and repeat this 5 more times around until we hit the marker and we have 30 stitches. For rounds 6 and 7, we are simply going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each one of the 30 stitches around. So we are going to have 2 rounds total of 30 stitches. For round 8, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to go ahead and single crochet the next 2 stitches together. We're going to go ahead and repeat that 5 more times until we have 24 stitches around. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take our head. We're going to go ahead and place the eyes between rounds 4 and 5, about 5 stitches apart. So we have here, we have rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we want them right around in here. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put that right there. So when you look at them, they are about 5 stitches apart. And then we're going to go ahead and put the back on our yarn eyes. We're going to go ahead and we are going to secure them into place. Now, I am using a tool that I get at glasseyesonline.com. It makes putting the eyes in ridiculously easy, but I find that these save my wrist. You will see me using these in pretty much every single one of my videos that uses eyes. Alright, so after we have our eyes in, what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and put my hook back in. And then what we need to do is we're going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then we are going to go ahead and single crochet the next 2 stitches together. And then we're going to go ahead and repeat that 5 more times until we have 18 stitches around. Okay, at the end of round 9 we have 18 stitches around. We're going to go ahead and fasten off. We want to leave a nice long tail though, because we do have to sew this to the body. We're going to go ahead and grab some stuffing. We're going to stuff the head. Now don't worry about stuffing it too much, because as we sew it closed, we are going to be able to add more stuffing. We're going to take our stitch marker out. And we are going to go ahead and take this now, and we are going to place it on our body. We want to place it so that it is with the chest part underneath. We're going to be running the front around right about round 3 of the body. So we have round 1, 2, 3. So the front's going to rest right about there, and the back is going to be right about rounds 4. And again, we want the chest part of the owl underneath. And we're going to go ahead and start sewing it into place. And again, make sure that you have it so that the back is the rounded bit that comes down with the tail, and then the front is going to be where it sticks out. And then to sew this on, we are just going to go around, and I'm just going to whip stitch it into place, just going around. And as I do this, I will be adding more stuffing. Once we have a nice little pocket almost, as it starts to get joined, I will be going through and adding more stuffing just to make sure that it stays nice and puffy. So it's not like sunken in. Stuffing is very hard sometimes. It just likes to come back on out when you are working it, and I find that sewing it as you sew it, stuffing up the join for pieces like this makes it so much easier. Okay, once I come to the end and I have my head sewn on, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to weave in the ends a little bit just for some added security. I'm just going to go through a couple times. Back and forth. And then I'm going to go ahead and I like to just bring it through random. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the extra. And there we have our head base on our body. To make our legs, we're going to go ahead and make a magic ring. We're going to go ahead and place 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to go ahead and place 4 single crochet into that magic ring, and we're going to go ahead and pull it closed. For round 2, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to place 2 single crochet into that 4th stitch. So we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet, and we're going to end up with 5 stitches at the end of round 2. Now for round 3, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into this next stitch, and we're going to end the round with 6 stitches around. Now for round 4, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So we have 2 single crochet into that first stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochet into the second, and then we're going to do 2 single crochet into the third, and then we are going to go ahead and we are going to place a single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches of the round, and that is going to go ahead and bring us up to 9 stitches for the end of round 4. Now for round 5, we are just going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the 9 stitches around. At the end of round 5, we have 9 stitches. We're going to go ahead and start on round 6. For round 6, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into the next stitch. Then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochets into that following stitch. And we're going to do that 2 more times. So we're going to single crochet and then 2 single crochet, single crochet, and 2 single crochet. And then we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Okay, at the end of round 6, we're going to go ahead and fasten off. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we have a tail to sew it. I'm going to pull through. And we are going to go ahead and we are actually going to make another one of these so that we have 2. Once we have our 2 legs, what we're going to go ahead and do is sew them between rounds 11 and 14 of the body. So we have round 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. They are going to go right around here. This is where our pins come in handy again. We do want them to go on even. We are going to be stuffing them as we sew. We're going to place them. And we want them to be on the row evenly with just a slight gap between them. We want to line them up with our tail. And we're just going to go ahead and we are going to sew them on. And we are going to stuff them lightly before. Okay, and then we have our body base done with our legs attached. It doesn't look like much just yet, but we will be getting there as we go along. Moving on to your tail, we're going to go ahead and take our body detail color. We're going to go ahead and chain 8. We're going to go and half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. Then we're going to go ahead and place a half double crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. We're going to have 7 stitches across total. We're going to go ahead and chain 1. We're going to go ahead and turn. Now working through the back loop only, we're going to go ahead and place a half double crochet into each one of the 7 stitches across. We're going to go ahead and chain 1, and we're going to turn, and we are going to go ahead and repeat that second row for another 6 rows, and we're going to do rows 3 through 8 as just 7 back loop only stitches across, chaining 1 and turning. Okay. At the end of row 8, we're going to have something that looks just like this. What we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to work 5 single crochets across. Make it as even as you possibly can, but we are trying to pinch in a little bit as we go, so you will end up with a little bit of puckering, and that is intended because this is going to be where it is near the body. So we have 4, and I'm going to do 5 right there. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn, and we're going to go ahead and just single crochet into each one of those 5 stitches that we just made for row 10. 3, 4, and 5. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. Now for row 11, we're going to go ahead and single crochet the first 2 stitches together. We're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to go ahead and single crochet the next 2 stitches together. And then we're going to go ahead and just fasten off. Now we are going to want to weave in our end for the short end here that's at the start of the round. So I'm just going to go ahead and weave that in, get rid of that. Just weave it in. I'm just going to clip off the extra. And now we're going to go ahead and take our body. I'm working at about round 15, so remember this was through round 14, so round 15 is right around here. We're going to pin it into place so that we know that it's pretty close to even across. And what we're going to do is we are going to sew the tail to the body. We're going to have this part hanging underneath it. Just sew it. Now keep in mind the top part of this tail will be covered by the wings, so it does not have to look very, very pretty. You just want to make sure that it is secure. And then we're just going to weave in any excess, just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and clip it off. And we have our tail added on to our owl. Now we're going to go ahead and take our accent color, and we're going to go ahead and start with our wings. We're going to make the first part of the wing. We're going to go ahead and chain 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. We are going to go ahead and place a half double crochet into that second chain from the hook. And then we're going to go ahead and place a half double crochet into each of the next 8 stitches. So 1. Okay, what we're going to go ahead and do is do a half double crochet into that last stitch. Then we're going to place a double crochet into that same stitch, and then we're going to go ahead and place another half double crochet into that very same stitch. So in that last stitch we have a half double, a double, and a half double. We're going to rotate it around. We're actually going to start working up along the other side of the chain, and we're going to go ahead and place a half double crochet into each one of the 9 stitches across. When we reach the end of the row, what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to go ahead and chain 1. We're going to go ahead and turn, and now we are going to go ahead and work in the front loop only. We're going to go ahead and half double crochet into each of the next 9 stitches. Okay, after we have our 9 stitches in the front loop only, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to go ahead and turn. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to be working through both loops, and we're just going to simply half double crochet into the next 9 stitches across. Okay, at the end of row 3, you're going to have something that looks like this. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to chain 1, but instead of turning, we're just going to rotate it. And we're actually going to place 4 single crochet evenly across this top area right here. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 underneath that last one right there. And now we're going to go ahead and chain 1. We're going to rotate again. And now we're going to be working, going across this way. We're working into the back loops only. And we're going to go ahead and put a half double crochet into each of the next 9 stitches. So 1. After you go ahead and make those 9 stitches in the back loop only, you're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. And you're going to go ahead and simply put 9 stitches across, 9 half double crochets across, working under both loops. Now we're going to go ahead and we are going to fasten off, leaving a long tail to sew. We're going to go ahead and weave in our short end here. Just go ahead and weave that one up. And clip off any excess. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to make a second one. So we have 2. I'm just going to go ahead and weave the end in here. You want to make 2 of these because we need 2 of these, and then we're going to go ahead and attach these to the body. We are going to be pinning them in place first just to make sure we get them positioned how we want. Once we have our 2, we're going to take our body back. Now what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to put the tops slightly angled. And we're going to want them about rounds 9 to 12. We're going to sew these on, and we want them to cross over the tail. So we have 1 there. Then we're going to go ahead and take this. You want to line them up. Remember, this started at round 11, so we have round 10, round 9. And again, sewing these on, you can put a little bit of variation in them, like if you want less wing or more wing to show underneath the other part of the wings, because this is only the bottom part of the wings. You can always adjust them a little bit more. I like to make sure though that the legs are showing because we are going to have the other wing going on it. So I generally tend to line them up with the tops of the legs on each side. And I like to have like the edge here right around there. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we are just going to go ahead and sew them on. And just secure them into place so that they don't go anywhere. But I'm going to leave these loose so that they can flow out in shape. I'm just going to bring this up and get rid of the pins. And then I'm just going to go ahead and weave it in. And then fasten off any extra. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same for this one. I do want them to crisscross just a slight little bit at the tail. And then when we sit this up after it's sewn, you're going to see the tail below. So we're going to actually bring this in just a little bit, and we're going to sew it right about there so that this does cross a little bit. Now as I'm getting to the edge of the second tail, I do like to secure it down just a little bit where I would like for them to fold over, and I do that just by simply making 2 stitches around And then I make the third one, and I'll bring it up into the piece that we were just attaching, and on that one is where I will weave it in and then fasten off any extra because we are done. End of our wings part 1. This is about what your owl will look like. To make the wings, we're going to go ahead and grab our yarn and our hook. We're going to go ahead and start with a magic ring. And we're going to go ahead and place 6 single crochet into that magic ring. You can go ahead and pull closed. Now for round 2, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into each one of the stitches. Round 1, we're going to end with 12 single crochet. I'm going to go ahead and start round 3. For round 3, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to place 2 single crochets into the following stitch. We're going to go ahead and repeat that 5 more times around. So we're going to go ahead and single crochet 1, followed by 2 single crochets in the same stitch, around 5 more times, and we're going to have 18 stitches at the end of round 3. Okay, at the end of round 3, we have 18 stitches around. We're going to go ahead and start round 4. For round 4, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And now we're going to go ahead and repeat that 5 more times around until we hit the stitch marker. We're going to do single crochet into 2 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the next stitches. We're going to end round 4 with 24 stitches around. Okay, for round 5, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And we're going to go ahead and repeat this 5 more times around, all the way till we get to the back. We're going to be doing single crochet into 3, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to end this round with 30 stitches. Okay, for round 6, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that next stitch. And once again, we are going to go ahead and repeat this 5 more times around until we hit the marker. We're going to single crochet into the next 4 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the next. We are ending round 6 with 36 stitches around. Okay, for round 7, we are going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, using a marker, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and we are going to go ahead and repeat this 5 more times around, doing a single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the following stitch, and at the end of round 7 we are going to have 42 stitches around. Okay, for round 8, we are going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that next stitch. And once again, we are repeating around 5 more times. Single crocheting into each of the next 6 stitches, followed by 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And at the end of round 8, we are going to have 48 stitches around. Okay, at the end of round 8, we're going to go ahead and we are going to single crochet into the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch. And then we're going to go ahead and fasten off. We are not completing the round. We are just adding a little bit extra to straighten out the spiral that naturally occurs. And then we're going to go ahead and clip off, leaving a long tail because we have to sew it to the body. And pull it through. We're going to go ahead and take our owl. And we're going to position our wings. You need to make 2 of these. So you're going to go ahead and make another one. And then once you have, and what we're going to do with this is we are going to go ahead and just sew it on. Just by whip stitching around. Now this is going to be covered by the other wing here. So I don't mind putting it in. It's a little bit messy. But down when we hit around here, what I generally do is I generally will bring it in and bring it up and leaving this looser. And I'll let it attach that, remove the rest of the pins. And then clip off any extra. And now that we have one wing attached, we're going to bring our other wing back and put it about where we had it prior, and just ensuring that it is where we'd like it to be. And then we will go ahead and attach this one as well. And there we have our wings attached. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to go ahead and make the head wrap, which will go around the back and down as we start to bring our owl into shape here. Alright, to make our head wrap, we're going to go ahead and start with our hook and our yarn, and we're going to chain 10. And then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and place 3 single crochet into this last chain. We're also going to rotate the chain while we do this, because we are going to go ahead and continue on working along the other side of the chain. And we're going to go ahead and place 7, then a single crochet into each of the next 7 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're just going to go ahead and place a single crochet into that last chain. And at the end of this round, you're going to have 20 stitches, and it should look something along this lines here. Now for round 2, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 20, 21, 22, 23 And we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, now we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. I'm going to follow that up with a single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. And then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that last stitch of the round. And at the end of round 2, we have 26 stitches. Now we're going to go ahead and start round 3. We're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. 2. We're going to go ahead and mark this one. If you haven't been marking already, now is when you're going to want to start. 1, 2, and then we're going to do 3, 4. And now we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, 1 and 2. And now we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches, followed by 2 single crochet into 1 stitch. And we're going to repeat this 3 more times until we hit that marker. So we're going to do single crochet into the next 4 and then 2 single crochets until we get back to the beginning. At the end of round 3, you're going to have 32 stitches around. We're going to go ahead and start on round 4. For round 4, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And we're going to follow it up with 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And we're going to go ahead and repeat this 7 more times. So we're going to go ahead and have single crochet into 3 stitches, followed by 2 single crochet in the next, and we're going to end round 4 with 40 stitches. Okay, at the end of round 4, you have 40 stitches. We're going to go ahead and start round 5. For round 5, it's going to be the same thing. We're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, followed by 2 single crochet into the next. Only this time, we are going to go ahead and have 10 sets of that around the round. And we're going to end up with 50 stitches for the round. So single crochet into the next 3, followed by 2 single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, at the end of round 5, we now have 50 stitches. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to, the start of round 6, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch, and we are done with this round. We're not going to cut it off though. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and we're going to turn. Now for round 7, we're going to go ahead and half double crochet into the next stitch. We're going to go ahead and double crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1, now we're going to go ahead and place 2 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to place a double crochet into each of the next 22 stitches across. So just go ahead and place a double crochet for the next 22. Okay, after we have our 22 double crochet stitches, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and place 2 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to place a single double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2, and then we're going to follow that up with a half double crochet, and we have something that looks like this. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to fasten off. We're going to leave a long tail because we need to sew. And we're going to pull this through, and then what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and place this so that the right side of rounds 1 through 6 are facing you and the wrong side of round 7. And you're going to position this on the back half of the head just like this. The neck will come down and the sides are going to be loose along the side because we are going to tuck some stuff into there, and we just need to make sure that it is tacked on. And then we're going to stretch this out just slightly. Now when we sew this on, we're going to actually sew through around here, and we're going to leave this piece loose. And we are not going to sew the sides down, so we're going to leave that loose. So basically, when we sew this to the head, we're going to be sewing around round 6. So that round 7 is not sewn and it's nice and loose. So I use plenty of pins to pin it in place, and then I check it, make sure. Very similar to this. Now a lot of the sewing, you'll notice as you're sewing it, will be a little bit more bulky, and that's because with the owl feathers they're kind of poofy. So this is intended. Just make sure it's nice and secure and you should be fine. So we're going to go just like this, and then just to sew it on, we're going to go ahead and take this down. Now we will be sewing on the next part of the top of the head. We'll be sewing around these stitches here on the top, because the top front part, which is the next part, will be going down in here and sewing up with these. So we're just gonna go ahead and sew this. And once we get back up around, we're just gonna go ahead and weave in the ends. This is how it should look about after we attach that head wrap on. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to clip off. And now we're going to go ahead and start on the front head top. To make our front head top, we're going to go ahead and start with a chain 3, 2 and 3. We're going to go ahead and single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into the next chain. Go ahead and chain 1 and turn. At the end of row 1, we have 2 stitches. For row 2, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that first stitch, and then we're going to place a single crochet into that next stitch. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. At the end of row 2, we have 3 stitches. For row 3, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that first stitch. And we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And we're going to follow that up with a chain 1 and we're going to turn. At the end of row 3, we have 4 stitches. For the start of row 4, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that first stitch, and we're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. We're ending row 4 with 5 stitches. For row 5, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that first stitch. We're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. 2, 3, and 4. And after that, we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. We're ending row 5 with 6 stitches. For row 6, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that first stitch. We're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. And then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that last stitch. We're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. We are ending row 6 with 8 stitches. For row 7, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that first stitch. And we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. And then we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. We are ending row 7 with 9 stitches. For row 8, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that first stitch, followed by a single crochet into each of the next 8 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. We are ending row 8 with 10 stitches, and then we're going to go ahead and we are going to fasten off. We want to be sure to leave a long tail because we need to sew it on. Go ahead and pull through. We're going to go ahead and take our owl, and we're going to line this up so that the back is here. We're going to actually, when we sew this on, we're going to wrap it and sew it into the back of the head. And then we want to place it so that the front is roughly around about round 5 of the head, just underneath the eyes, just like that. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to sew this on to the front face of the owl. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to stitch these together. You can go into the body as well if you wish to, for added security, just like that. And we're just gonna stitch it together. When we get to the edge, now we are going to go ahead and just tack it. I usually do a couple back stitches down. Right about there. So once we get back to the beginning, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to bring it in, and then I'm just going to weave in the ends and clip off any of the extra yarn. Just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and make our lower face piece, and for that we're going to use the same color that we used for our body base. To make our lower face piece, we're going to go ahead and make chain 2. And we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into that second chain in the hook. And we're going to chain 1 and turn. For row 1, we have 1 stitch. For row 2, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that stitch. We're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn, ending row 2 with 2 stitches. For row 3, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that first stitch. And then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that next stitch. We're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. We're ending row 3 with 4 stitches. Now for row 4, we're simply just going to single crochet into each stitch across. 3 and 4. We are ending row 4 with 4 stitches, and we're going to go ahead and fasten off. Make sure to leave a size tail because you are going to need to sew this on. Now I'm going to go ahead and we are going to fasten in the short tail from the starting chain. We're going to go ahead and weave this in now so that we do not have to worry about it. Just bring it down, weave it in, and we're just going to fasten off any extra. And now we're going to go ahead and take our owl, and the narrow side, which is row 1, is actually going to go right up here underneath the lower face part, or the upper face part. We're just going to pin it in place so that it's easier to sew on. The bottom edge, which is the row 4, is actually going to be right around row 9, around 9 of the base body, and it's going to be right around the edge there where we seamed it to the head and the body together. So we're going to go ahead now, and we're just going to sew this on. Just like that. Just attach it. Now I am going to bring in, and I'm just going to, I'm not sewing it technically to the upper face part. You can if you wish. When we add the nose or the beak, it's going to go right up in here. For now, we're just going to go ahead and sew this into place. Whip stitch it, back stitch it, whichever way you find works best for you. This does not want to stay on my needle. And we will just set this into place, just like that. And then we will just weave in any extra in the ends. And then we're just going to clip off any of the extra. And you have your lower face added on. Beak will right there. Now we're going to go ahead and make the ears. To make the ears, we're going to go ahead and take our main body detail color, and we're going to go ahead and chain 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to slip stitch into the second chain from the hook. We're going to go ahead and slip stitch into each of the next 6 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to single crochet into the next chain. We're going to go ahead and half double crochet into the next chain. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to double crochet into that last chain. Once we double crochet, we're going to go ahead and chain 2. Now we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that second chain from the hook. We're going to slip stitch into the side of the double crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch into the same chain that the double crochet is worked into. Just like that, it's going to make our little ear. We're going to actually go ahead and we're going to fasten off. I'm going to pull it through, and we need to make 2 of these, just like this. Now we're going to go ahead and take our owl body. Now the peak is the ear tip, So we're going to make sure we line it up, and it's going to line up along the side of the top of the face. And we'll use our pins, just put it in place. And the ears will be back here between where the side of the head is and where the extra side of the back is. Now we're going to go ahead and sew these on using the long tails. Go ahead and sew that in, come up and around. And I'm going to sew it into, and I'm working around the sides and into the side. Alright, we're going to go ahead and keep just sewing these on. Just make sure it's on nice and good. I will just weave in the end to secure it, and then I will just fasten off any excess. And we have one of our ears on. And then we're just going to go ahead and repeat the process with the second ear. Okay, after we have our ears attached, you can see it's starting to look like an owl. We're going to go ahead and make our eye accents, and to make our eye accents, we're going to go ahead and use the same yarn that we used for the base of the body, or you could use white here if you wish to use white. And to make these, we are going to go ahead and chain 10. And we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that second chain from the hook. And then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into each of the next 8 chains. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off, leaving a long tail because we have to sew. Go ahead and pull this through. And again, if you wish, you can always weave in this end here ahead of time. And we're going to actually need to make 2 of these. One for each eye. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take our owl, and we are going to go ahead and place these so that they run right up to about the corner before the ear. And we're going to sandwich them in between the eye, just like that. And then we're going to bring it out around the side, just like that. We're going to go ahead and stitch this onto the face up until we get to the eye. Just stitch it on. And then when we get up to where the eye is, in order to stitch that one up, we're going to bring it up just like that. And we're going to bring it up, and then we're going to come up into where underneath that would be, and then we're going to bring it down. So what we're actually doing is we are sewing this onto the eyebrow, but by sewing it in the seam, when we pull it tight, you won't see the other color being such a drastic for some colorways, but then it's attached and you're actually sewing that part to the eyebrow, and it'll help kind of keep it close together too. And then we'll bring this one down under the eye, and then we're going to go ahead and bring this one up, and we're just going to go ahead and do that just like that. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to weave this one in, any excess, and then you're going to go ahead and repeat with the second one. And try to make it as even as you can. I'm going to bring this down just about there, and then this will be your, and we have our face starting to come into effect here, and that is the end after we have the accents. To make the face accents, we're actually going to be making 4 in total. We are going to be making 2 in our accent color, and we're making 2 in our main body detail color, but they are made all the same way. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take our yarn in our hook, and we're going to go ahead and chain 11. 10 and 11, and then we're going to go ahead and single crochet into the second chain from the hook, and then we're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 9 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 9. And then after we have our 9 stitches, we'll have 10 stitches total into the row. We are just going to go ahead and fasten off. Fasten off, pull it through. We're going to need a yarn to sew it. And we can actually go ahead and weave in our starting tail so that that is one less tail to worry about while we are making the face. Okay, once we have our 4 pieces, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take our owl, we're going to go ahead and take our accent color piece, and we're going to line it in alongside the body, going up around here, edge of the thing, the head, the edge. We're going to go ahead and pin it into place. We're actually going to tuck this accent piece down just under the tip of the wing, right around there, and that's about where that's going to place. And we're going to do the same with the other one, and we're going to have this very similar to that. And then we're going to go ahead and we are just going to sew this one into place. Now it doesn't matter which side is front or which side is back. You want to work with whichever one's easiest for you. We're going to go ahead and do the same with the second one. And you can sew this as little or as much as you'd like to add on the details. But you want to leave it loose around the edge because we are going to be placing another piece down inside of here. Okay, once we have those attached, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and take our main color and we're just going to go ahead and sandwich these in. And these here, the bottom parts, going to touch up right around the bottom of the face. So we want to make sure that this gets attached at an angle. And these, you might find it is easier. Once you get it attached to the head, bringing it back through, you don't have to worry, it's the same color. I got a little bit too there, I'll go over that with the edge, but we're just going to bring this back just like that, and this will be what curves around the face. Then we're going to go ahead and attach this one as well, and just make sure we sandwich it in there so that you can see the orange spike, and this will be our face. And we're just going to simply go ahead and sew these on as well. What I like to do is I like to take and I will sew this on down here at the edge and give it that border. Up into the edge of the face here, and then I will bring it through and we will just work all continuous lines. Now bring it, tuck that in, and just bring it down, and bring it around, and just sandwich it through like that. Now what I do when I get to the tip part up here is I like to bring this up, and then I will bring this into where the eyebrow is, and I will secure this to the eyes, the ears as well. Just like that. It helps keep the ears standing straight up as well. And then I just bring it back through the head, and I will actually weave it into the back of the head and fasten it off. And that'd be one. And then we just repeat on the other side. Okay, and that is the end of our bulky yarn. And now we just need to make the beak and the feet. Both of these will be used using our cotton DK. Just adjust. Okay, to make the beak, we're going to go ahead and take our DK weight cotton yarn and our 2.75mm hook. We're going to go ahead and make a magic ring, and then place 3 single crochet into that magic ring. And we're going to go ahead and pull it closed. Now for round 2, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the first 2 stitches. And we're going to place 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And we're going to end round 2 with 4 stitches. For round 3, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, and we're going to follow it up with 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And we're going to end round 3 with 5 stitches. Now for round 4, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. 2, 3, and 4, and then we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into that last stitch. And we now have 6 stitches around. And for round 5, we are just going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each one of the 6 stitches around. So 1, 2, 3, 6. For round 6, we're going to go ahead and single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So we'll place 2 single crochets into that last stitch. We are ending round 6 with 7 stitches. For round 7, we're going to go ahead and place 2 half double crochets into the next stitch, followed by 2 double crochets into the next stitch, and followed by 2 more half double crochets into the 3rd stitch. Now after this, we're going to go ahead and fasten off. We need to leave a tail to sew. And we want to take our starting tail, and we're going to go ahead and tuck that in. Now if you do have any more room to stuff, you are going to want to go ahead and stuff it with some stuffing. And that should be good. We're going to go ahead and grab our owl. And now we're going to go ahead and take our needle and we're going to go ahead and thread it. We're going to go ahead and sew the beak onto the owl. We want to make sure that the top part is up underneath the top part of the face, with the round 7, the three stitches we worked in round 7 facing on the outside. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to sew them to the face. That, and just make sure it's sewed in the center of the face. And we're going to bring the tip down, and once we have this attached up at the top, we are going to work this down the length of the center of the face. And we want to attach it that it is secure. As such. And once we have it attached, we're just going to go ahead and bring this back up. I usually bring it up. And weave in any ends. Just like that. And we have our beak attached. Alright, to make our feet, we have to make 8 toes in total. 2 of the toes are going to be 1 round shorter than the large toes. So we're going to go ahead and start with our claw collar. We're going to go ahead and make a chain 2. And we're going to go ahead and place 2 double crochets into the second chain from the hook. We're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. We have 2 stitches at the end of row 1. For row 2, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochets into each stitch across, but we are not going to turn. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 single crochets. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually fold it together, and we're going to join this so that it starts working in the round. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and single crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to go ahead and single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then on that last stitch, we're going to change color to our toe colored yarn. We have 4 stitches. Now for round 2, we're just simply going to go ahead and once again, we're going to single crochet into each stitch around. And 4. For For round 3, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochets into that first stitch, followed by a single crochet into the next stitch. Once again, we're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochets into that next stitch, and followed by a single crochet into that last stitch. And we will have 6 stitches around at the end of round 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the claw colored yarn off just so it's easier to work with. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take the starting tail of the tow colored yarn, and we're going to take the end tail of the claw color, and we're going to go ahead and tie a knot and just pull it just a little bit tight. There you go. And just a little bit of added security. Now for rounds 4 through 6 of the large toes, or for rows 4 through 5 of the short toes, the small toes, we're going to be working a single crochet into the back loop only of each stitch around. So for short toes you need 2, you're only going to work 2 rounds. For large toes you need 6 in total, and you're going to work 3 rounds. So we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each stitch around, but we are only working into the back loops only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to repeat that one more time for short toes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you for 2 of our toes, you would then fasten this off, leaving just a long enough tail to sew through, and put it aside. But we are going to be making one more row because we are making a longer toe. So once again, we're just going to go ahead and very simply just single crochet into each one of the stitches around. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we'll have 6 toes that look like this. What we're going to do is fasten up along one tail. We're going to go ahead and take our starting tail here. We're going to go ahead and thread it. We're actually going to take it and we're going to work it in where the fold is. We're going to bring it up through the top of the toe. I'm going to slightly curve it just a little bit, and that'll be where our claw is. And we just go ahead and take these, and we're going to trim these down. And when you have our toes, you'll have the 6 toes together. Each foot is made up of 1 short toe and 3 toes. And how we're going to work these on is we're going to take our owl, and you're going to place the toes down here on the bottom. You're going to place them so that there is 3 toes of the long toes facing outward. And then you're going to have 1 toe in the back. And you can just go ahead and take and thread your needle, and you're just going to sew these into place. They do not get stuffed. So I'm just going to go ahead and after we have our toe, we're going to take our back toe, and our back toe fits in the back of the foot. Let me just sew this into place, pretty much lined up with the center toe from the front. Once we have both feet sewn on, come on back. Okay, after you have your toes sewn on, you're going to go ahead and make the bottom part of the foot. To do this, you're going to go ahead and take your 2 points. To do this, you're going to take your 2.75mm hook and your DK yarn. We're going to make a magic ring, and in that ring you're going to go ahead and place 5 single crochet, 3, and you're going to go ahead and pull that closed. Now for round 2, you're going to go ahead and place 2 single crochet into each one of those stitches around. Going to have 10 stitches at the end of round 2. And now for round 3, we are just going to go ahead and place a single crochet into each one of those stitches. So 1, 2, 4, 5. Alright, at the end of round 3, we're going to go ahead and fasten off. And then we're going to want to go ahead and make a second one of these. And then we're going to go ahead and attach these to the center of the feet, just like this. I'm going to work them over the toes, work them into the toes, sew them to the legs. This is to hide the ends of the toes as well as add a little bit of stability so that they stand a little bit easier. So I'll work this in here. And once you hit the end, you're just going to go ahead and weave in any of the ends, and then the starting tail, if it is long enough, you're just going to go ahead and weave that in as well. And cut off any excess ends. And you're going to go ahead and do that to both feet. Okay, and once we have our feet done, we are complete. Just make sure you shall stand